Hey, what's going on, friends? Barry E. Knight. Listen, I want to talk to you in today's coaching session about strategy and implementation. I normally dread when people call me to do strategic planning sessions. Now, I'll tell you why, and hopefully it'll resonate with you. But, usually they call me to do a strategy plan in a day, in 8 hours or 6 hours, or sometimes even less than that, 4 or 3 hours, a half-day session, maybe 2 days at the max that I get an opportunity to work with this team. And what I've learned over the years is that there has been so much that has happened throughout the years of their existence and their operations, and they want me to kind of sort things out in a day. That's just unfair to me. It's also unfair to them, to the leader, to the executive leader, and their team. And so we read a lot of stats about strategic planning and why strategic planning fails over 67% of the time. Why do strategic plans fail? In other words, they don't change anything. We spend hours in the room and we put all these papers on the walls and we have these breakout sessions, but why don't things change? Now, I have some notes here. I'm going to look at them just to read some things to you because I want to make sure I get this to you just as it came to me. But the first thing is, and write this down if you're taking notes, the first reason that most strategic plans fail, and a lot of books don't talk about this, a lot of videos and articles are not talking about this. Number one is there's no accountability. We have all of these things on the wall and that consultant that they hired and paid a lot of money for to come do the strategic planning session. We put it in paper and we write out this beautiful, recommendations and all the strategies and all of the summaries that we've talked about, the things that we talked about in the session, but there's no accountability. So when you're doing a strategic plan, when you're planning to move, don't just look at it as a strategy, but look at it also as how are we going to implement this strategy? Now, let me slow down with this. You need to have someone accountable. Let me say it again. You need to have someone. There needs to be a name next to that action step. Don't just put a team. Oh, the finance department will take care of it. Because guess what? When the ball hits the ground and somebody drops the ball or a deadline is missed, you're going to go to the finance team, and that finance team is going to start pointing fingers. Well, John was supposed to handle it. No, there needs to be a name. David, Barry, John, Jane, Jill, right next to that action step. So if the ball is dropped, the deadline is missed, guess whose office we're going to? Guess who gets the email? Guess who gets that phone call? Jill, John, Jane, whoever that name is. John, you're responsible for these results. Jane, you're responsible for these results. So number one, if you want to improve the chances that your strategic plan will succeed, there needs to be accountability. Someone needs to be held responsible for every action step or every objective. Now, the second thing is kind of tied to this accountability is there's a lack of timely decisions. In other words, we have the strategic plan. We know John or Jane's name is assigned, but we haven't told John or Jane by when. We're afraid of deadlines. Oh my gosh, I don't know how many leaders I work with in organizations that are just afraid to say by when. As a matter of fact, there's an organization that is still working on their strategic plan. But by when? When is it going to be done? Who are we going to assign these objectives and or action steps or action items to? And then by when? Listen, that's all I need to even say. There's really nothing else. If you do these two things, at these and implement these within your strategic plans and your strategic planning sessions, this will be a game changer. I promise you, your strategic plans will move further than they've ever moved before. Now, there's other things. I'm just giving you two things to do if you want to improve the success of your strategic plans. Accountability. Who is responsible for action item A, B, 1, 2, 3, objective 1, 2, 3? Again, at the end of the day, if the ball is dropped, which we're not looking for it to be dropped, we want to go to Trevor, to Michael, whoever that person is, to Melissa, to Samantha, and say, you are responsible for this. And don't be afraid. Hey, listen, if this doesn't get done, there are going to be some repercussions, some things you may not like a conversation we might have to have. Now, that's called leadership. A lot of leaders don't like to have those conversations. That's why we just take the strategic plan and we have that rah-rah session for 8 hours. And then that strategic plan goes and sits on the shelf. 67%, more than 67% of all strategic plans fail to be implemented or accomplish the outcomes that they were created to achieve and accomplish. Someone needs to be accountable, and also deadlines need to be set. There needs to be timely decisions. Decisions are hard. The word decide means to cut off. That's why we don't like it, because I have to cut something off. In other words, something needs to happen. So if you want your strategic planning sessions and your strategic plans to really lift your organization and move it to the next level, accountability. Who's on first? Who's guarding first base? Who's covering it? Who's that person? I need to know the name. And then when does the decision need to be made by? Listen, my friends, that's it. That's all I have. That's all I have. Listen, do me a favor, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also click that notification bell so that you'll know when other videos like this, these teaching videos, the coaching session are coming your way. Go to my social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, also LinkedIn. Search for Barry E. Knight. You'll find me. Some more great content that you'll have to really inspire your leadership, help you increase your influence and your impact in your organization, in your industry, and even in your world. Lastly, don't forget to purchase this book if you haven't already. If you have, purchase it for 10 other people in your leadership network. The Gift Called Leadership. Go to www.thegiftcalledleadership.com. You can get it for $22.99. Again, don't be selfish. Don't just get it for you and you grow and transform your leadership. Get it for other people. Get it for your other peers and other leaders in your network and even your executive team, so that you all can produce transformational change in everything that you do. I thank you for joining me for this edition of the coaching session. My friend, my name is Barry E. Knight. I am a servant and I was created to serve you. 2 fingers.